How about that? The red light's on, waiting for the green light. Tick tock, tick tock, tick tock. And oh, there it is. Oh, you gotta love this. I'm Max. I'm ranting, which is probably why we call this blog Max Rants. Today I don't have a really scripted anything. I'm here because, oh, by the way, it's October the 1st, 2025, and that is a Wednesday. And where's my burp button? There we go. I cleared my throat. I'm back. For now, I want to rant about a number of things that really piss me off. Let's start with Social Security. I'm not talking supplemental security, what you get for being disabled or injured. I'm talking about Social Security. You understand what it means is after you've worked 30, 40, 50 years of your life, you've been involuntarily taxed. You've been taxed at gunpoint. The government has taken money from every check, every dollar you earned. They say, well, this is to take care of you in your old age. This is your Social Security. When you get in your 60s or your 70s, you can claim it. But we'll tell you how to claim it. We'll tell you how much of it we're going to let you have back, and we're going to change those rules every freaking day. This year, you can sign up as early as 62. The next year, a couple years later, you got to be 65. Then a couple years later, you can sign up at 65, but you're not going to get full benefits unless you wait till you're 72. God almighty. And they took the money from you. Now let's get to something even more embarrassing for me. They tax you and tax you and tax you. When it comes time to pay you back, they factor what you're going to get paid back on your last 10 quarters. That means your last, 10 quarters, but the last 2.5 years. That's how they factor it. Now, somebody like me, okay, who is living away from the country, overseas, for like 20 years, and drawing never a wage larger than $500 a month, not taxable, but guess what? You come back to America, they say, hey, you've had no income, no taxable income for those 10 quarters, those 40 months. So guess what? You're going to get the rock bottom, $700, $800 nowadays, maybe $900. We're going to screw you. All the money you paid from Social Security while you were in the Marine Corps, while you were working jobs, while you were filing and working for yourself, all that money's gone because they're going to screw you with it. And does it get worse? Hell yeah. Let's talk about Medicare. That's attached directly to Social Security, you know. Everybody gets type A, which means basically they'll pay 80% of the $1 million or so that you're going to run up in medical bills. Even with it, you're screwed. So you've got to have type A and type B. Type B allows for expanded benefits, makes you eligible to go with private carriers for even better coverage. Problem. This year, they're going to tax you $200 a month. They're going to take out of your Social Security to pay for that Medicare. 200. God almighty. You know what they're doing? They're screwing you getting a job, screwing you getting taxed, screwing you on getting Social Security. And here's a killer. So you're making $800, $900 a month on Social Security. So you take a part-time job at Walmart or Burger King, which is like $15, $20 an hour. You know what they do? They don't just tax you on that wage, but they factor that and they say, you know, we're going to have to cut your Social Security down. You're making too much Social Security because you're making a subsistence wage. Do you understand? Nobody told us they were going to screw us this bad. All they said, thank you, FDR, was gun to your damn head. Pay it. It comes out of your check, every check, or you're going to jail. We might even kill you. Social Security. Let's call it social insecurity. Let's move along. How about this one? Anti-ICE demonstrations. Did you know that in Portland, Oregon, the ICE detention center and offices have been under siege for over 100 days? 100 days plus? people out there dressed in Antifa uniforms with all black and masks in their face, ready to do violence to anybody who gets in their way. And they're allowed to stay because Portland PD are or their mayor is and passing the eggs and the feathers down to the cops, saying, if you enforce, breaking them up, you lose your job. Any way you slice it, we need Mr. Trump to send in National Guard, armed, and give him permission to take fatal measures if necessary. Fact. If a guy throws a brick at me, I'm going to blow his back out. If a guy throws a brick at a National Guardsman, he needs to get shot. It's self-defense. You can't let this riot just totally overwhelm you. Then you have chaos. You don't have a republic. Enough of that. Let's move along. Propaganda. There's one that I like to bitch about. You can't read anything in American newspapers, hear it on the radio, watch it on TV, get it online, without it praising the Ukraine's valiant efforts against the evil invading interloper Russia, the Russian bear versus the Ukrainian dictator. What do? Well, I can remember early on in the war when all the press was just, enamored, in love with the ghost. You look back in the Google, the ghost. This is a crackerjack Ukrainian fighter pilot who, in an outdated plane, somehow managed to shoot down, 20 or 30 Russian jets? Propaganda. Lie. How about this? They don't tell you that for every 11 Ukrainians that get killed in the war, one Russian gets killed. They have a soldier fight ratio of 11-1. You can't sustain it. They would have you believe that Russia's on her last legs, out of money, can't pay her soldiers, yet somehow they can maintain these fleets out there in the Alaskan waters. They're incurring, they're getting into our airspace. They're getting into other countries' airspaces. If Russia wanted to beat Ukraine, if they decided, that's it, it's done, we're going, they would crush them by the end of the month. Fact. Russia's been fighting a defensive war, which is why it's taking so damn long. Mr. President, Mr. Trump, please open your eyes, get off your ass, and realize that Ukraine doesn't necessarily have to take back those 3 provinces. Because the fact is, as rough as he was on them then, he's made it clear. He views them all as traitors. He wants them back in the Ukraine so he can punish them even more. Yeah, Zelensky, our CIA president, appointed into Ukraine. Oh, how joyous. Let's get along. It's all crap. You'll never read an article or hear a story about a new heart transplant or something happening in Moscow, or about their latest drone for news and weather. You won't hear anything good, even though they recently fired another rocket up into space to join up with the ISS, bring supplies to the crew. You won't hear about that. Propaganda. And America's the best at that. Let's move on. Sales tax on groceries? On medicine? Whoa, wait a minute. Are you serious? I don't know how many states, but in the state of Idaho, when you buy food, milk for your baby, bread for your sandwich, or you buy medication, cough syrup, whatever, you're taxed over 6% on it, and they're wanting to tax it higher. Where in hell do you tax people on the basic staples of life, on their bread, their milk, their eggs? Prices are high enough without the government throwing a sales tax at you, but Idaho's governor's a good example here. He goes with the wind, his wind. That wind, right. Well, here's what he says. I promise I will eliminate that sales tax if you elect me governor. So we elected him. 2-3 months later, he hadn't even broached the subject. Someone says, Mr. Governor, when are you going to move on the sales tax? He says, I'm not. Up yours, I'm not. He says, I'm not. Somebody later asks him, how can you justify what you lied to the public? And now you're smiling. How can you justify it? His answer is, you love this, are you ready? Leave governance to the professionals. End quote. Anyway, enough of that. Let's move on to the next one. Higher education. God almighty, higher education, colleges, universities. Their lies go far beyond mere propaganda. You'll hear stories like if you have a bachelor's degree, you have 6 times the chance of success as if you don't. Lie. No data to support that. Or people with college degrees, in general, are happier than those without. You're right, you'll never prove that. Meanwhile, with like Boise State University is just an example. For those who don't know, Boise State is a relatively insignificant college in Boise, Idaho, whose only claim to fame would be their football and basketball teams. East of the Rockies, they've never heard of them either. But let's go on. They've got a president who's making over $400,000 a year. Okay? And every time you turn around, the tuition goes up. 70% of their budget, 70% is for administration. 30% goes to staff, faculty. When you go to college today, I'm going to quote something the late and great Charlie Kirk said. He said, most of you are being scammed. Most of you are being cheated. End quote. Now, my opinion is he's right. You're paying way too much and getting too little. There's not enough guidance as to what you should study in college. So what do? You take a liberal arts education. You stay as long as you can. Remember the motto, stay in school as long as you can. And now you get out with a master's degree, $60,000 or $80,000 in college debt, and you're a barista at Starbucks. Hey, baby, make it happen. Oh, your neighbor? That kid went to the Cheyenne Aerotech School to learn how to fix airplane engines. He was in school for 2 years, and he's making more money now than you'll ever make. Higher education. Lie. Who should know more about propaganda than college professors? Let's move along, shall we? How about this one? Venezuela. In recent months, the United States has been blowing boats out of the water. Allegedly drug boats. Maybe they're running drugs. They've been blowing them up, and we've put destroyers in the water. We're talking 4 Navy destroyers. We're talking about Marines. We're talking about Lightning F-35 attack jets. We're talking helicopters. We are putting everything in position for a war, and Mr. Trump has even talked about regime change. I'm not going to get into that. America's history of regime change is nothing less than scandalous, shameful, degrading to the American spirit. It's almost like he's poking them, hoping they'll fight back, because it seems to me somebody wants a war. Frankly, that doesn't sound like the Mr. Trump I voted for. He got us out of wars. In his first term, he got us out. In this term, he made sure, but all of a sudden now, seems he's ready to start a fight with Venezuela. What? Come on, damn it. There's got to be a better way, because now Venezuela has jets in the air and they have ships in the water too. It's ugly. It doesn't have to be. Hell, I'm not a professional diplomat. I could make a deal. Put in the right seat. I could. You don't believe me? Call me. You've got my number. Next, finally, let's get into one that's really controversial for many, but not as many as you think. Taxing the churches. Yes, you get a great big mega church, like 5,000-10,000 members, tax-free. Their pastor's getting paid very well. So are the other 4 or 5 pastors on staff. People giving the money, no taxes. How about bigger churches like the Roman Catholic Church, the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, the Nazarenes, the Southern Baptists? I mean, come on. They're not paying taxes. And you know what? A lot of them are gaining fortunes because they're not giving out as much as they're taking in. Now, there are exceptions, like the Idaho Rescue Mission. It's a not-for-profit, religious-oriented organization. I doubt if they profit a penny. I think every nickel that comes in goes out to the benefit of people who need it. There are other organizations that are that clean and that clear. But when it comes to church, the opiate of the masses, Karl Marx was right, we need to tax them. We need to put them in tax brackets, let their accountants get together and figure a way to snooker us out of a lot, but pay us some like most American corporations do. Oh, I've had a chance to rant, rant, rant. God almighty, let me tell you what. In the words of my sainted grandmother, this makes my ass hurt.